and welcome to our first episode of Amplifying Accessibility. I'm Mel, and this is Alex right below, and we're both very excited for this first episode of a new series, inspired also by Alex and myself, I guess. But yeah, welcome. And feel free to just add where you're joining from the chat, and if you have any experience with accessibility too, that'd be cool too.
Mel, so excited to join you today. I'm going to be moonlighting as both a co-host and a presenter today. It's not going to be the norm with a couple of the other sessions that we have planned, but as we were talking backstage with our two amazing guests today, what better way to spend a Saturday or wherever you are in the world, whatever day it is, talking about accessibility, how to amplify it for our students and all learners. So very excited to be here with you and be a part of this, and let's get into it at this point.
Okay, so the purpose of the webinar. So just be aware that this is the first of hopefully a few episodes, okay, to do with how we amplify accessibility. So it's to explore how edtech tools can enhance learning and inclusivity and create more equitable learning experiences for all students.
We also have some objectives to kind of share with you. We're going to highlight accessibility and inclusivity integrations in Edpuzzle and Adobe Express. We're going to discuss practical edtech applications in classrooms, and I think something that Mel and I are very passionate about, sharing tangible ideas with resources. We're going to give you 3 sets of resources that are going to be stellar to help you hit the ground running with some new accessibility features.
Thanks very much for that, Alex. That was epic. So I just want to say hi to those that are in the chat. There's, it says, Claustro Virtual, I guess, saying hi to Jesús. I see Majo in the chat there saying hello and welcome to everyone, being supported from all areas. And we have Amazing Assurance, who's also like a new Edpuzzle ambassador, showing her support in the chat. So I am going to start off with a quick Menti to see where you guys are all at with I guess, accessibility in general. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you to get involved. But of course, if you're on a phone, you can just scan the QR code as well to join. So we're quite curious to see what you know and like what your experience is. And I'll post that here in the chat.
We also have some questions on the side. If you just want to participate in the chat by responding to questions like what tools or strategies have been successful for you in making learning more inclusive, and if you could design the ultimate edtech tool. We know that there are so many out there. And good evening, Marietta. Great to have you with us. You know, what would you make sure to include in that edtech tool if you were designing it from scratch? We have so many to choose from. We want to know what you think about these questions.
Fantastic. So I'm going to have a look to see if people are joining. I'm going to share the Menti display. Ooh, we have some people sharing out what does accessibility look like to them.
Okay.
Opportunities, inclusivity, inclusion, an easy tool. Okay, that's quite interesting.
That's a great one in yellow there, Mel, because I would say we have 2 tools that are extremely easy to kind of pick up and go with today. So we're going to really show you those easy applications as well.
That's true. Fantastic. Okay, maybe I'll move on to the next question.
Sure.
Can have a look. Let me go back to here. Okay, the next question, if you're in your Menti, you will see it there, okay, is what's your biggest challenge while integrating accessibility features into the classroom? So we've got 4 options here. If these 3 here, which is like lack of training and resources or limited time for integration or unsure of the best tools available, if one of those isn't your biggest challenge, then feel free to share it in the chat and we'll have a look there.
I know that in many schools in the United States, Mel, it's that lack of time. You know, finding professional development, professional learning opportunities is a very big challenge. Part of the reason why you and I are actually producing this little webinar series so that people can have it on the go in a quick bite-sized piece, 10 minutes each platform, that they can take these features and then use it in their own class.
Very true. Well, thank you to those that have shared in the Menti there. So we can see that most people are talking about the time factor, as Alex just mentioned there, but either lack of training or resources. So hopefully we can help you there today. And if, oh yeah, someone did state other. So if you do have another reason, please don't be afraid. You can share that in the chat with us so we can have a look to see what your biggest challenge is. But of course, if you're too shy to do that, that's fine too. No pressure on you at all. That's fine. Okay. So with no further ado, let me move along. And I'm going to introduce our first two presenters today, or they can introduce themselves. I mean, we can see what happens here. We have Majo and Jesús. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being able to share your amazingness with us today.
Majo, you go first, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want it to interrupt. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here and sharing this space with amazing people and teachers. And I am Majo. I am part of the Edpuzzle community team. And I am so excited to be sharing this inclusive classroom with you with Edpuzzle.
Well, hello, everyone. First of all, thank you so much, Mel and Alex, for taking us, for inviting us. It's a pleasure for us to be here with you. As you said, learning on a Saturday, that sounds great for us, at least the geeky teachers like us. So this sounds like a good plan. And as Majo said, I'm also part of the community team at Edpuzzle, and I'm from Spain. I'm connected here from Spain. So it's 8 p.m. here, and I can't wait to get started with this.
Okay.
And in addition to the accessibility piece, Mel, I have to have full disclosure here. One of my goals as an Edpuzzle ambassador was to work with Jesús. I worked with Majo last year. I worked with Stacy Roshan and Manny. You got your lovely Edpuzzle t-shirt you just showed. So now I finally get a chance to collaborate with Jesús as well. And I couldn't be more excited. No better individuals than to represent the Edpuzzle community than Majo and Jesús. So we're so excited to listen to you share about how this video lesson platform can really amplify accessibility for all learners.
Thank you so much for the introduction. All right, Majo, so should we get this started?
Yes, let's do this.
I'm going to take ourselves off and share your screen. So let me add yours up there, and farewell and have fun.
Awesome. So we have called our presentation Edpuzzle and UDL for an inclusive classroom because we thought connecting UDL, it could be like a way to see that connection between accessibility and Edpuzzle and also, of course, UDL. So that's why we decided to focus the presentation on. So Majo, would you like to say what are we going to be talking about today, please?
Yes, of course. So we're going to be telling you a little bit about what is UDL. Some of you may know, some of you will not. And so we will explain which are the UDL key principles. And we're going to give you some examples of each key principle with Edpuzzle. So we're going to explain how Edpuzzle can be used for accessibility for UDL and taking into account the key principles.
So first of all, we wanted to remind you what UDL is in case there is someone who doesn't know or maybe they forgot or something like that. So first of all, let's try to define it. The UDL stands for Universal Design for Learning, and it's a way of teaching, or it is an approach that makes learning accessible to all students, no matter their abilities, learning style, or needs. So this means that we need to adapt our teaching and try to reach all of our students, all right? And this UDL is based it has three key principles.
Yes, so the three key principles, the first one is representation, which means the what of learning. We need to provide content in different formats. We can do video, we can do text, we can do audio to support all of our students. And they have different ways of perceiving and understanding information. So that's why we need to use different formats for them to have a better learning.
Second principle, action and expression. This could be how of learning, how students learn. So allow students to show their understanding in various ways. So this is like giving them the freedom or the opportunity to choose the ways that they can express themselves. So writing, speaking, creating videos. So just by reading these two principles, Majo, a lot of Edpuzzle features are coming to my mind.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to need more time, like in order to show all of the accessibility features, but we're going to talk about the most important ones. So the third and the final key principle, it's engagement. This is the why of learning. So we need to keep our students motivated with their choices, with interactive elements and flexible pacing. And emotions are crucial in this principle. So we need to make sure that emotions are included in the engagement principle.
All right. So the way that we're going to be doing this is we're going to show something, an accessibility tool from Edpuzzle, and then we are going to be connecting it to an UDL principle, and more specific, one of those guidelines, because those principles are divided in different guidelines to make it even more specific. So the first one is closed captions. So all of these features that we're going to show you are available on the settings of Edpuzzle when you are about to send a video to a class, assign a video to a class. You have all of these settings, let's say. So the first one is closed captions, and this one is connected to UL principle 1, which is representation. And here is to offer alternative for auditory information. So let's say that we have some student that may have some kind of hearing issues. So having the closed caption is gonna help with that. But not only that, like Majo and I, both of us are English. English is our second language. So if the teacher have a student like us, let's say, like, I don't know, in my case, when I taught in the US, there were a lot of students who were just coming from Mexico, so they were still struggling a little bit with English. They were in that process of learning. So having those closed captions in English or Spanish, depending, is gonna help these students. So we are offering alternatives. All right.
Perfect. The second example is that Edpuzzle has the option for you to add audio notes and feedback to your students. So this is can you help me with the next one? Sorry. So this is part of the principle 1, which is representation. And remember, it is the what of learning. So it offers alternatives for visual information. So this could be very helpful for students that have difficulties providing maybe verbal instructions and explanations. So you can, that have difficulties with reading, and you can provide verbal instructions. So let's say you are a first grade teacher and your students are learning maybe how to talk in Spanish, in your case, or in our case, we are learning how to talk in English. So teacher can give the information and the instructions via audio so that students can understand what they need to be doing.
Awesome. The next one is also audio or test responses, but in this case, when we talk about audio, we are talking about giving the option to the students to use those audio notes. So in this way, we are connecting it with the principle 2, and as a reminder, that is action and expression. So give the student the choice to express their understanding in the format that best suits their abilities. So remember, we're giving them the option, and they will have, in this case, on the open-ended question added puzzle, they would be able to answer it writing, with the keyboard, or typing, or they could also use a voice note to answer those questions. I can also think of the student project, but we are not gonna get into that just yet. All right, Majo, are you ready for the next one?
Yes. Ready. So the next example is the multiple attempts. So in Edpuzzle, we have this feature, and you decide how many attempts your students can do with a video lesson. So this is part of the principle 2, action and expression, remembering you that it's the how of learning, and it allows students to retry and improve their responses, and obviously reduce anxiety, because we know that sometimes if as a student, if you have like a question wrong or something, it gives you a little bit of, oh my God, I should have like read better or read again so that I could answer correctly. So they can retry doing the whole video lesson and improve those grades. So that's how multiple attempts can help with accessibility.
I like having it like unlimited attempts, because I mean, unless we are using that video to evaluate our student, why not giving them the opportunity for learning from those mistakes, you know? So
Yeah.
giving them as many as they need sometimes, depending on the context.
Exactly. And you know, like the best way of learning is through your mistakes. So if you realize that you are responding incorrectly, that's not going to happen to you again.
Okay. The next one, we are talking about playback speed adjustment. So here, Edpuzzle allows you to do two things. One, make the video a little bit slower, but also even faster. So the teacher has the option to enable it. And this is connected to principle 3, engagement. And again, we are giving the student this autonomy. So again, depending on the context, maybe let's say that they are college students, and we're going to give them the chance to watch the video a little bit faster because they have the capacity. So we're giving them this choice and autonomy one more time. So this support the self-paced learning. All right. I believe this is the last one that we have, right, Majo?
Yes, this is the last example that we have. So you can create interactive questions to your students. And this is part of the principle 3, which is engagement. And this fosters collaboration and community. Can you help me with the next one, Jesús?
Yes,
please?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. And this this example about interactive questions encourages active participations to your students and enhances comprehension through interactive elements. So I can think of 2 features that Edpuzzle has to get to this, like to get to the active participation and learn through interactive elements. So we have the live mode, and in your classroom, you can project the video lesson and you can make your students collaborate between them so that they can answer the questions. And the second feature I'm thinking about could be student project, because I mean, student project personally is my favorite one because it actually engages collaboration between peers. So let's say you're talking about a specific topic. You can let your students create their own video lesson, upload it to Edpuzzle, and add the questions and audio notes and the feedback they want to that video lesson. So in this case, they became the teachers by creating that video lesson. So I mean, I really think that we have a lot of features. Well, Edpuzzle has a lot of features that could help accessibility and to improve and have better understanding and learning for students.
Awesome. So should we show everyone how to use or how to set up those settings so they have access to those accessibility tools, Majo?
Yes, let's show them so that they can see where to go in case you wanna see all the accessibility features that we have.
Okay.
And yeah.
How are we doing with time, Mel? I think we only need like 2 more minutes and we'll be done.
You are good. You're fine. No problem.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, so this is my Edpuzzle homepage. I have some videos here already on my content. I'm gonna use this one. It's in Spanish, but it doesn't matter because you're still gonna be able to see what we want you to do. This is how to learn how to add in Spanish. So most of those accessibility tools are gonna be, as I was saying, we can choose, right, about enable them on when we start assigning it to some of our students or some of our classes. So here is the moment where we start choosing, okay, do we want to we
prevents.
won't allow the student to skip the video. Normally, this one is always on for me. What about you, Majo?
Sorry?
I said that this one is always on for me. What about you?
No, definitely, because I mean, we need to have that in order for us to realize that they are actually watching the videos. And we also have a feature that if we prevent skipping, they can actually fast forward the video. So they can watch it like more quick.
Yeah. And the next one is the one that we also talk about, multiple attempts. And again, depending on the context, because if you're using Edpuzzle maybe like as evaluation, maybe you only want to give them one option, one chance. But in my case, most of the cases, I use unlimited attempts. And this one, we also talk about this. This is not, the students are always going to have to be able to watch the video a little bit slower available, but to watch it faster, to speed it up, we will have to enable it. So again, depending on the context, because if you are sending a video for the first time to your third graders, I don't want them to watch the video faster, okay? But if you are sending a videos just for review, or you have them as a library, so for the student can review the content whenever they want, maybe yes, because they want to review a specific point of the video. So why not allowing them to watch the video a little bit faster?
Yeah.
And the last one, Majo, you want to talk about it? This would be turn on the closed captions.
Yeah, I mean, even though maybe you have English speakers, students, you can enable this. So you can turn it on so that you can, so that students can hear and read the what the video is saying. So that helps maybe students that have like problem hearing, or if there's like I don't know, if you're like in a big room and the sound is not really good, you can you can turn on the closed caption so that everybody can read.
Yeah.
And there's no how do you say it, Jesus? Pretexto, like I'm sorry, I forgot the word. Yeah, they don't have the how do I say it?
I'm not sure. You need to give me more information.
So I'm about to say, like, no tienen pretexto de que no vieron el video.
So they cannot have any excuses, right?
Yeah, they don't have excuse of I didn't saw or I didn't hear, because they had the closed captions and they had the audio. So
all right. I think that's it from our end. It was very fun to share a little bit about Edpuzzle. As Majo was saying, we wanted to make it short and get to the point, but we could be talking about this at least for an hour for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, and hopefully anyone that's here live or that's watching the replay can connect with you guys with your handles that are here, and the presentation will be shared also at the end of this live. So don't worry that you're like, oh no, I didn't see this thing, I want to rewatch that thing, and you can always replay afterwards too.
Yeah,
thank you so much one more time, Mel and Alex. Sorry, Majo.
No, I was going to say that everybody can reach out in case they have questions or they want to know more about accessibility. This was like a very quick explanation of what Edpuzzle has, but there are tons of things they can do, so they can reach out, we can help. And yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity of being here, Alex and Mel.
Of course. We're so appreciative of you both, considering we know that you have many other responsibilities being part of the Edpuzzle Global Community Team, leading that group so well. And I'm just really excited to be able to kind of piggyback off of what you shared, because what I'm going to be talking about kind of really coincides with what you just talked about. And I also want to make note of the Edpuzzle Coach Certification course. While Majo and Jesus did an absolutely stellar job sharing about UDL principles, there are a lot more in-depth videos talking about this way of kind of creating an inclusive classroom with UDL-centric type of lessons within that certification course. I would definitely recommend checking that out. And we have a resource for you a little bit later that's going to show you how to get directly to that space. So couldn't thank you both enough, and just excited to be able to collaborate with you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I'm going to remove both of you, but you'll be back. Okay, everyone, you don't worry. Okay, Majo and Jesús will be back. Okay, after Alex's presentation. So if you've got any burning questions, don't worry. Okay, you can still ask them in the chat, and they'll be able to answer for you. Okay, thank you again. Let me say bye to you. And okay, so Alex, I'm going to share your screen, and thank you again for being able to step up and share all the awesomeness about accessibility in Adobe Express.
Of course, Mel, just appreciative to be able to collaborate with you. We've done some Adobe Express stuff in the past by making Waco collections of other users' creations. But to be able to share in this way with you today, it's even more meaningful, and I feel very special about it. So couldn't be more excited to have collaborated with you and be able to share about how you can foster inclusivity in your class with Adobe Express today. So while I am an Adobe Creative Educator Level 2 and Adobe Innovator, I'm also an Edpuzzle ambassador, proud of both of these platforms, representing them. And today's just a really interesting session for me, because normally I have about at least an hour to share all you can do with Adobe Express. I'm going to try to keep it to about 10 minutes today, but we'll still show you a really impactful way to integrate this tool, where it might be viewed as something mostly as a creativity tool, but it has a few different options that we're going to share with you today that will really allow you to make video lessons more accessible, any type of graphics that have text. And if you have student devices that might not be the best to record on, we're going to show you a tool that gets you studio quality sound. So very excited to be here with you all, and I hope you can take some ideas away from this little mini session that we have. So my hope is that in these 10 minutes, you'll be ready to share more inclusive materials with your students by captioning videos with ease, translating text within designs, and producing studio quality sound. So I'll talk about the first two kind of together, and then the third one, with whatever time remaining, we'll talk about that as well. So I just want to get started. If there is anybody out there who is not using Adobe Express at this time, it is free for all K-12 educators and students. So you do have the ability to sign up with this, share your school credentials, and then you will gain access to the full suite I'm going to be showing you today. So we actually have it in my district at Long Branch Public Schools. I'm an edtech coach over there. We're very thankful that Mr. Rodriguez, who's part of the DEI team over in our district, really promoted the platform and helped us bring it on. And I'm actually going to show you some creations from a group of 4th and 5th graders that were just absolutely stellar, and something that I always am proud to kind of share with the world. So that link in the bottom right corner under that lovely gradient A, that will bring you directly to the space for you to sign up for an Adobe Express education account, where you'll get all the bells and whistles. And then depending on what your district offers, maybe even the AI integrations as well. So we're going to get started with the captioning video and translating text tools that are built within Adobe Express. It really makes it an absolute breeze for you to be able to bring in captioning and then even translate it for that extra level of inclusivity. A couple of notes that you want to take into account. Your video file can only be up to 1 gigabyte and 5 minutes in length. Now, I'm only trying to do my best to match the fervor and enthusiasm and greatness that my good friend Claudio Zavala Jr. on the right side did in this video walkthrough, but he has a wonderful demo from start to finish if you click here with the slides that Mel shared with you. So if my New York accent and the hand gestures and the speed of my speech is a little too much, you'll have him be able to walk you through this entire process, where you will be captioning your videos and even translating them if you have diverse learners who speak multiple languages. So I'm going to step away from the slide deck at this point, and I'm going to go into Adobe Express. So when you have that full EDU account, this is going to be the space that you're going to come into. I mean, to me, it's one of the most inviting, colorful, fun-looking spaces as far as a home page on a platform goes. And what I want to show you first is a quick action. So you have some of Adobe Express's most popular quick actions and types of designs you can do right on this home page. But if you go into the plus purple button in the top left corner and then select quick actions, you'll see that you have all of these different options available to you. And the one that we're going to be using today is this caption video tool right here. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about this, simplicity and ease of use of edtech tools. As a former teacher, math teacher, grade 8, I know that some of the reticence, some of the trepidation to using edtech tools is that they can be very complex and difficult to navigate. To me, that was 2 clicks to get into this space, and then you have the option to browse for your file or simply click and drag it in. So I created a very brief video, literally 6 seconds, and I'm going to bring that into this space right now. So I have this Alex Adobe clip, and I'm not going to play it for you at this point, but what you're going to see in the top right corner is that fun little animation taking place. So what's happening now is Adobe Express is actually kind of hearing what I'm saying in the video, and it's producing captions. So while this takes place, I could share a quick personal story with you. As a EdTech coach in my district at Long Branch Public Schools, my partner Lois and I had the opportunity to go into a classroom at Amerigo A. Anastasia School, one of our elementary schools. And I found out a little bit later on than I would have liked, it's a bilingual classroom. And I was, feeling like a little unprepared. I wanted to make sure they knew what to do in this activity we had planned for them. And literally within the 5 minutes I had before the class started, I took my directions video, captioned it, and translated it into 2 languages of Spanish and Portuguese for the multilingual learners in this class. And as a result of that, before we get to this captioning, I want to just show you, these were their creations. They manage, and I also give a shout out to Mrs. Barrett's class as well, because they also did it. So students used the animate character tool, which we're going to show you soon enough as well, to put mouths onto AI generated animals. And this was what they were expressing their gratitude for. And I see that Rochelle has joined us. Great to see you. Welcome. So these were the creations. And I attribute the fact that all of these students were able to get through this so effectively because of my ability to share instructions in both Portuguese and Spanish. So I'm telling you firsthand, I'm in a very diverse district. If you teach multilingual learners and you have video, you want to bring your video with translated captions, perhaps into Edpuzzle for an interactive lesson, it's just a perfect app smash right there. So I had to give a shout out to these classes where I took this tutorial video right here of Helena Hare, and I brought those captions in and also translated it to make it more accessible and inclusive to those students. You have no idea. They were so impressed that it was me talking English, but the subtitles were there in Spanish and Portuguese. And you're able to do it in one shot, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. So at this point, you could see that it's captioned with just the beginning. You're going to have to deal with having me frozen in very embarrassing mouth positions. I'm sorry for this. But you can see that as you scroll through the video, you'll see the captions in the top right corner change. So if everything didn't come out perfectly, you can edit that before either downloading this or going into the editor. And for today, for that extra layer of accessibility, you could choose the block option, and it will actually highlight the words as you're reading along. So this is a great feature, as Majo and Jesús kind of explained, having that written out in front of them, but not only that, having that little blue box kind of hop along as the words are coming out. That was something that really helped my students when I was in my math classroom previously in Red Bank. I was always captioning my videos, making it more accessible to them that way. So I'm going to say that all of the captions are correct. You can change the colors and all of that kind of good stuff. And again, you could do different options here. If you wanted to go more with like a loud box effect, you could do that. You also have the option of simply now downloading this and sharing. But I want to show you now an added layer of inclusivity where I'm going to go open an editor. And you'll see now that as I scroll through, again, I told you, frozen mouth images that you never want to see and are going to be nightmare juice. I apologize. There I look like I have a problem with the camera person. You have your captions ready to go, where if I hit play, you might not hear me, but you'll see. You see, I promise you, it's me talking. That little box is moving along. You have the same option right now to be able to click and move or resize the captions, but I just really want to get into this translation piece at this point. So you have your captions available to you. I'm feeling good about everything. I'm trying to now make this accessible to my multilingual learners in my class, and now it's really as simple as this. So I'm going to now click off of that little bit of subtitle captions right there, and now I'm going to go into this translate button that's right at the top of the screen. Now, this doesn't just apply to captioning. you have a graphic that you are bringing in. You can translate the text on there. And something that Adobe Express does that other platforms might not do is they allow you in this drop-down menu to select multiple languages and have things translated at one time. So I've got to give a shout out to Majo from the Edpuzzle Summit that took place this last summer. She did a wonderful app smash session with Claudio Zavala Jr., who I just showed on that previous slide. And they kind of showed the character animate tool, but with captioning as well to bring it into an Edpuzzle lesson. And we're going to show you that next. So I'm going to do Spanish and Portuguese because those are the two most spoken languages in the classrooms in my district. And then you can actually change the tone of the language that's being translated, but I'm going to keep it as is and go don't change the tone. We only have the one page, and I'm going to click translate. So this is something that I really like because it's going to now create multiple pages with the different languages. And I'm going to zoom in for everybody out there. You see that they've even labeled those pages with the new languages. So to me, this is one of the things where if I have extra time when I'm training on Adobe Express, this is something I share because across the world, we have diverse classrooms. We have learners who have different type of language acquisition needs. So this is a real way to level the playing field for all learners who speak different languages, making those video materials more accessible and inclusive of them and their families. So I'm going to double click on this Spanish version and I'm going to hit play. So you can see that I have my Spanish translated version right there. And then if I go into another page by simply clicking on this View All Pages button right here, I can double click on Portuguese. And if I hit play, I have that language available to me as well. So not only would this be something for students, but if you have multilingual learners in your classrooms, what are we doing to make materials accessible and inclusive to their families, their guardians, their parents? That was one of my biggest passions when I was still a teacher. I was always trying to make it where regardless of what language you spoke, between a Wakelet or an Edpuzzle or using Adobe Express, I was combining and app smashing all these tools to make inclusive newsletters that everyone could understand and appreciate. So that's really all that you have to do, where once you have your caption or translated video, you can then go download right up here and you could select all pages or just the selected page and then simply share the video however you choose, bringing it in as a link from Google Drive, bringing it in as an Edpuzzle video lesson. But in just about, I would say maybe 6 or 7 minutes from start to finish, I took a video clip, captioned it, and then translated those captions. So to me, if you're teaching multilingual learners and you're incorporating video or trying to add that accessibility or inclusivity piece to your classroom community, Adobe Express's quick action of captioning and translating would be an excellent way to start. Now, with what time we have left, I want to kind of talk about the other feature, which is a lot less involved and probably the thing that I see is the most engaging for students and individuals who participate in any training that I'm doing on Adobe Express. And it's the animate characters type of quick action. So that bottom right corner where you see that blue cat, he's kind of the mascot, so to speak, even though they have hundreds of characters that are being updated weekly. So basically what you have the option to do is record your voice in real time up to 2 minutes or upload any of those file types up to 1 gigabyte. And the mouth, the character, whoever you're wanting to speak your words, their mouth will actually be dubbed and lip synced with your character that you choose. Mel, I know that it's one of your favorites, the avocado. Avo has always been a favorite of mine as well. So you're in good company too, Mel. I know you use this tool extensively. Now, I shared a video walkthrough with you on the activity I did with my kids, where we had all the different AI-generated animals. So if that's an activity that interests you, even though we're out of Thanksgiving time, you can still have kids express what they're grateful for. The template and all information is in the YouTube that I linked right here for you. So this one I'm just going to show you very quickly. I'm going to talk about joining the Adobe Educator community, and then we're going to wrap and kind of just leave some time for Q&A and summarize. So when we go back onto Adobe Express, let me open up a new tab. If you have the EDU version of this, you're going to see this blue cat right here, and you're going to select Animate Your Video. So you could see, you could choose all of these different characters, and if I go into all, You have all of these different ones, including, students with special needs or individuals with disabilities. You have animals, you have, inanimate objects. You have all kinds of stuff available to you to kind of let students choose, share their voice in a way that's comfortable with them. I know Majo and Jesús kind of went about it that way, how they're comfortable learning. With this, it's how they're most comfortable sharing. So you could do that. You could choose a background. You can change the size if you're looking to make it like an Instagram reel or a TikTok. But what's really great about this, and I'm going to zoom in once again, is you can record. And not everybody has equitable access to really good devices, hardware to be able to record with. This little button right here that I always toggle on, even if I'm recording in just my own space, will actually enhance with AI your voice to studio quality speech. So think about, I think back to when I was in the classroom in a district that had students with severe needs. It was a tough space for them at the age of 13, 14. When they were in a house that was sometimes chaotic, or they were on a Chromebook that didn't always sound the best, it was a challenge to get clear recordings for them. I wish this tool was available to me when I was still teaching 8th grade math, but now it is. And when I tell you, even my mic, which sometimes might not be the best, I sound like pro studio quality when I toggle that on. So this tool is built into this animate character option, which again will engage your students to the fullest. And it will allow them to sound like they're recording in a studio. So we're giving students accessible tools that are going to allow them to sound better and be more clear. So I wanted to really make note of this option as well, where all I would have to do is simply click that record button or upload an audio message, and then it's going to actually dub your video out that way. So I feel like we're kind of running out of time at this point. So I'm going to kind of just let you explore this tool a little bit. Again, all you have to do is simply hit the record button. You'll get a countdown. So excited that everybody joined us for this webinar today. Hit the done button. And similar to when we were captioning the video, you're going to get that nice little animation going on in the top right corner. So what we'll do is I'll talk a little bit more about the Adobe Educator community, and then maybe by the end of that, this processing will be fully done so that you could see this recording in real time. So before I kind of close out, I want to make sure to kind of share about the Adobe Creative Educator community. I still remember getting my Adobe Creative Educator Level 1 certification. So I would definitely recommend joining their Facebook group, taking a look at some of the monthly challenges that they have right now. It's a Martin Luther King quote graphic. I did two, one on Martin Luther King, one on Kobe Bryant. It's a great opportunity for your students to share their voice in that way. So I would definitely recommend checking out this community. It's about as good as it gets, innovative educators, and I've had nothing but fun representing the platform at multiple different venues throughout my time, kind of developing my skills on this design tool. All right, let's take a look here. All right, it looks like it just finished. So let's hit play again. I assure you it's me talking. Let's see the mouth moving. So to kind of close out, before we bring out Mel, Majo, and Jesús, you could take this animate character video, have your students record it, let them download it as long as it's not over that 5 minutes in length. You could then caption it, translate it, and kind of do that workflow, showing how to create inclusive and accessible video materials with captioning and translated text for your students. So I hope in this short amount of time, I always feel like it's a complete blur when it's like under 30 minutes. I hope I made sense through all of this, but rest assured the resources that are going to be provided will allow you to take away from this webinar and integrate these tools into your own practice. So couldn't have been more thrilled to have the opportunity to be a part of this webinar with you, Mel, Majo, and Jesús. And hopefully we have some questions to answer, but if not, we'll talk about next steps and what's coming down the pike with future iterations of this webinar. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Mel, and I assure everyone watching, this will be my only time presenting for this. I will be going back to purely a co-host in the next session and beyond.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. I know it's very hard to share out about like tools within 10 minutes. I mean, even 30 minutes is quite a challenge. I mean, Jesus and Majo mentioned, usually you present for like an hour at least to really like showcase, the different tools that are available. But at least, you guys have given a snapshot for people to, delve in a little bit, and maybe they had no idea about these. And so it really is about spreading the word, right? How to make different edtech tools more accessible to others. I think that's the most important thing. And then you guys managed to do that today, I think, at least. So like even people are like, oh no, this was too fast, they can just go back and watch the replay, look at the resources that I'll share in the chat in a moment. But I'm super grateful to all of you for being able to like be here today to share out all this amazingness about how to make these tools more accessible to like all students. And of course, for those that are in the chat today, I mean, Rochelle joining, that was epic. And then Marietta and Shannon was there for a bit, one of my old friends. And I think someone that knew Jesus as well was here at the start. So we're super grateful for that. That is for sure.
Thank you so much for inviting us, Mel. And amazing presentation, Alex.
Oh, thank you so much, Majo. It's an absolute pleasure. I have to bring it when I'm following such amazing presenters as yourself. So, I had to bring it. Love the fact that we could app smash both platforms, and just really was inspired to kind of have these be the two platforms. I was thinking back to your session with Claudio. So just very appreciative of you both in getting this forum with Mel and the both of you. I couldn't think of a better way to kick things off with this webinar.
No, way to go, Alex, and congratulations to both of you for putting this kind of series together. I'm very excited to attend to the following one. Is it going to be every Saturday?
We've got a Friday this week, and then the following week, Mel, it might be a Thursday. I'm not sure. We're bouncing all over the place.
Okay.
We're keeping it accessible to all viewers. We're not trying to paint ourselves into one spot. But we're very excited, and we hope you'll tune in, Majo and Jesus. But we know you have bet to plan for continuing, and we know you have so much going on with the Edpuzzle community and you leading them. So again, we're just appreciative of your time, and hopefully these resources that you see in front of you with the slides that we're sharing, they allow you to really hit the ground running, even if you're away from us.
Definitely. And I know that we don't have any questions in the chat right now, but I'm sure that most of you that are watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, you're probably going to have a bunch of questions after this. So don't hesitate to contact these amazing presenters here today. And I've shared out like the slide deck in here, so you have access to their resources and their contacts, and they're very welcome to you being able to reach out to them and to ask any questions you have about the platforms and tools that were shared today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, make sure you follow us so that we can share amazing things with you.
Yes. So looking ahead, we do have a thank you and a call to action, Alex.
We do have a call to action here, Mel. Yeah, let's not forget that. But again, we appreciate everyone joining today. We appreciate anyone watching the replay. So we just really want you to be able to take at least one use case that we shared today and bring it into your class. But we do have an accessibility challenge that we'd love to share, love to see promoted on socials, whichever one that you are a part of and participating on. So in the next month, identify one accessibility feature offered by an edtech tool you already use and implement it in your classroom. We would love for you to, on social, share how this tool enhanced learning experiences for your students, and either tag any and all of us, add hashtag amplifying accessibility to hopefully inspire others. But more than anything, we would love to influence people to be more mindful of the type of educational technology we can offer our students to make learning equitable for all of them. So we hope you participate in this challenge. We would love to see some hashtag amplifying accessibility posts out there, and we'll make sure to amplify those posts should we see them out there on socials.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that out, Alex. And looking ahead, our next session is coming up this coming Friday. It'll be Katie and Alana from Book Creator and Quizzes, respectively, sharing out how these particular platforms can enable accessibility for all learners. So I think that concludes today's session. I know it went way over half an hour, but it's the first session. So I'm just grateful for all the shares from everyone. I hope that everyone enjoyed it. And again, so thankful to the presenters from today. And again, please don't be shy to reach out to any of us to contact about Edpuzzle or Adobe Express or any other questions you have about accessibility tools in edtech platforms.
We appreciate everybody joining us, whether live or after the fact, but please do reach out to us. Do, push the envelope, so to speak. Take that risk, incorporate one of the options or features that we shared today, and tag us so that we can really promote what's going on in your classroom.
Okay. Well, any final words from Jesus or Majo? Otherwise, we'll conclude.
Just to show appreciation and gratitude one more time. So thank you so much for inviting us. It was a blast. And see you around, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much.
We appreciate everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you
Okay.
for
Bye,
being here.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.